Good evening, Dr. Ajay Jain, sir, Dr. Saurabh Jain, sir, and all dear participants. Good evening, Dr. Chanchla Jain, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
So, ma'am, shall we start the session?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Please.
so every day brings a new hope and positivity with itself. So, with this positive thought, a very good evening to all dear participants. Esteemed member of Team Research Foundation of India, our distinguished subject expert, Dr. Chanchla Jain, ma'am, and all dear participants. I am Nikita Kandilwal, the program coordinator for the FGP on first-hand experience on SPSS Introductory module. I welcome you all on behalf of Research Foundation of India. This education journey has been made possible through RFIs and with the generous sponsorship of JHERF ARGU. But before we start the session, let's have a look on Research Foundations of Journey. Research Foundation of India is strictly working for the social upliftment and higher education quality and Indian research promotion in the form of events like international national conferences, seminars, workshops, symposium, and other activities. Research Foundation of India works for the integration of intellectual ideas across the globe to fulfill the thrust of innovation and humanity. RFI is concerned with improving the educational process by encouraging scholarly inquiry related to education and practical application of research results. Research Foundation of India is working for research and development for higher education. It has signed MOU with top universities of India. Research Foundation of India's members are faculty, researchers, graduate students, and other distinguished professionals with rich and diverse expertise in education research. And with this, Research Foundation of India does not take any financial sponsors from any government body, and it has organized 1,000 plus international conferences and workshops, FDP, symposiums, etc., all over the world. Now, RFI is having 87 chapters in India and 18 chapters in Asian and other countries, and categorized in 5 board: West, East, South, North, and Central zones. So with this, today, as we all know that it's the first day of our this FDP session, and Dr. Chanchla Jan ma'am are hugely knowledgeable personalities here with all of us to guide our participants. But before we look at our session, just have a look on experts journey. Dr. Chanchla Jan ma'am is an author and research expert and academician with an experience of more than 11 years in management and commerce as an assistant professor. Ma'am is a co-founder of Urja Counseling and Training Indore. Presently, ma'am is working as an assistant professor in Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Indore. Ma'am is also the coordinator of IQSC HPI-MR. As a research expert and trainer, ma'am has conducted many workshops and FDPs on SPSS modules, research paper writing and analysis through I-programming. Recently, ma'am has completed one research project related to medical field, which has been presented before the Central Ministry. Ma'am has a rich experience of more than 12 years in research, and with this, she has more than 42 research papers published in various scopes, national and international journals. Ma'am has also presented research papers in more than 20 plus conferences and won 5 Best Paper Award at JIMS, Delhi Pacific University, Udaipur, and 3 in Prestige, Indore. 4 researchers were also pursuing their PhD degree under the able guidance of Dr. Chanchla Jan ma'am. Ma'am has also guided more than 500 plus students in their major and minor research projects. And as an author, ma'am has also written a book on a crucial problem of our society, along with a co-author titled as Atmatya Kyun. So with this, I feel it's really my good honor to invite the highly exceptional and hugely esteemed Dr. Chanchla Jan ma'am, renowned for her precision and expertise in her area all over the education field. So with this, without any further delay, I would like to invite ma'am on RFI's platform. So ma'am, please welcome. Now the footpath is yours.
Thank you so much, Nikita, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, firstly, for introducing me with the participants available on this online platform. I extend my sincere gratitude towards RFI team, especially Ajay Jain sir, Saurabh Jain sir, to the entire team for giving me one more opportunity to interact with the participants on this most important and most discussed and most used tool, which is SPSS. So thank you so much, Nikita ma'am. I hope I can start the session now.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, good evening, everyone present over here. I hope I'm audible and you are connecting with me. At the maybe I think in the afternoon, maybe you have received a link for joining or for for downloading the SPSS. I hope those who are not having the SPSS, they have downloaded it, as it is a hands-on FDP. Through this, probably you will get more insights that how you can use SPSS for applying the basic tools like T, ANOVA, correlation, regression, how to check normality and reliability. So these are the agenda of this particular FDP. Today is the day one where I'm talking about the basics of SPSS. We will see what SPSS is all about, how we can use it for the analysis purpose. Then we will see what is the interface of SPSS. We will see how to enter the data in SPSS, how to create variables in SPSS, and then we'll see how to import the data, which is the most important thing. So this is the agenda of this particular day one. So with this, I think I'm starting the session. I think you all are set. And initially for 5-10 minutes, I'll discuss about SPSS, and then I'll take you through the interface of SPSS, and then we'll see how we can use it. I think Debashish Das sir has sent a message regarding the mail. Just a minute, let me check. Okay, Debashish sir, it is not through the mail. Probably you are there on a WhatsApp group, and maybe Yogra sir has shared the link with all of you on a WhatsApp.
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, I did not receive any contacts. I contacted somebody on the number, and I received a link on my WhatsApp, 2-3 links on my WhatsApp, just maybe around 15 minutes back, 10-15 minutes.
No issues. No issues, sir. Meanwhile, when I'm talking about the very simple concepts, meanwhile, you can download it. Or today is the day one. Probably if you're not downloading it, even then it will work. There is no problem with that, right? Only thing is that you can see how we can use SPSS for creating the variables and how we can importing the variables in SPSS. That I think you can note down. There is no what I can say, it is not like a big thing. From tomorrow onwards, if you're having, it will be good for you, right?
Yeah. One request is there to the organizer, if they can be mailed, because instead of WhatsApp, we are all using the laptop to work. So if it is mailed, then we can, kind of immediately go to.
Okay. So I think Yogra sir, are you there in a meeting? Already shared. Thank you so much, Yogra sir. So Debashish sir, I think you can check your mail. Probably you have received the link, right?
Will check, ma'am. It's not as of now. I have not received it.
Yoga sir, Debashish sir is asking about sharing the link on mail. So have we? Okay, okay, fine. So sir, he is sharing with you through that you can download. But I think meanwhile, today is a day one. It's very basic day. So even without SPSS also you can listen me, right? And then from tomorrow you will be having that. That will help you out to understand how you can use SPSS for the analysis purpose.
Sure,
I hope it is fine.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. So I'm starting with the session now. Okay. So before fine, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you so much. Debashish, sir, it is available on chat box also. Through that also you can copy and paste the link at any of the document, right? And then afterwards you can download it. Is it fine?
Yeah, ma'am, sure. And it can be downloaded on the MacBook also?
For MacBook, it is available. Once you will go through this link, that particular window,
Okay.
the choices are available.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fine. So friends, I think now we are starting with the session. Before proceeding and talking about how to use SPSS, let me talk about few basic concepts about research, because this is a 7 days journey where you will talk about the statistical tool using SPSS. Or so before understanding this thing, that how SPSS is helping you out for the analysis purpose, I think you should need to tell me your knowledge about the variable, because when we talk about the analysis thing, there we are talking about the variables first, right? So understanding of variable is must, and measurement scales you need to know. So I'll just ask few questions and then we'll proceed with the SPSS, right? So any one of you will tell me what do you understand by term variable? Anyone can unmute and can tell.
Variable which can take different values, which values may vary.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. I think it is up to the mark, I can say. Ma'am has said very precisely that when we talk about the variable from name itself, I think in the name itself, the definition is hidden, which varies is variable, right? Which is not constant is variable. So when we talk about research, in research, generally we are interested to measure certain characteristics or features. So we can also say variables are nothing but these are the characteristics or the features of any object or any entity which any particular researcher is interested to measure, right? Then further we are talking about the types of variables. So any one of you can tell me what you understand by types, or how many types of variables you are understanding?
Dependent and independent variable.
Very good. Very good, Anamika ma'am. Yes, Vanda ma'am, I think you also want to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my ongoing research is from thermal power plant. So
Okay.
I take two variable, dependent and independent variable.
Very good.
So yeah, dependent variable is uh, like that. Output is independent. That depends from coal in electricity generation.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Fine. Anyone else?
Variable can be related to data type also. It is an integer variable, character variable. What type of data it is those?
Okay. Fine. Fine. May I know the name, ma'am?
This is Sanjana.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Ma'am, variables are basically used for storing the values and the results. And during research, we have to require the very types of the variables.
Okay. Give me a second. Fine. Okay, I think many of you are having the understanding about variable, and I think many of you have said very correctly that when we talk about variable, it is nothing but it is any entity which is can be said as characteristics or feature. It is entity which varies, which is not constant, or maybe it is a kind of facility which is helping us to store some value. Is variable, right? Further, when we talked about the types. So I think you will said dependent and independent variable is the one classification. So I think we can start from the qualitative and qualitative variable and quantitative variable. So variable broadly can be classified into the two categories: qualitative variable and quantitative variable. So when we talk about qualitative variable means the variable which cannot be expressed in the form of numbers, which are in the form of some qualitative terms, are known as qualitative variable. For example, the nationality of a person, the hair color of a particular person or the persons, the eye color, then gender, marital status, their education level, etc. These can be the qualitative variable. When we say quantitative variable meaning is that the variables which can be expressed in the form of numbers, right? For example, the height of a person, the weight of a person, the income, salary, etc., can be treated as a quantitative variable. When we talk about statistics, limitation is that it cannot deal with the qualitative terms. This is the biggest limitation of the statistics, right? It can only deal with the numbers. And when we talk about the statistical tests like t-test, ANOVA, regression, correlation, MANOVA, etc., many tests are available in statistics. So all the tests are demanding a variable should be in the number form, right? But I think when we talk about practically in the real world, I think we know this thing, that it is like not possible for us always that variable will be in the quantitative form, right? For example, if I want to measure the brand loyalty of my customers, right? So in that case, it is known to us that brand loyalty is a type of variable which cannot be measured in terms of some number, right? I cannot say a particular person is having 1 unit of brand loyalty or 2 unit of brand loyalty, likewise. So when we talk about the research or practical world, we are dealing with the various kind of variables which cannot be expressed in the form of numbers. So in such case, if we want to perform some statistical analysis, so we know we need to convert our qualitative data into the quantitative form. We need to code our data, right? So that is the one thing. So we can code our data, and that way we can perform the analysis on the data. Second thing is that as I have given you the example that I want to measure the brand loyalty of the customers. So we know this thing. It is not possible for us to measure the brand loyalty of any particular person. It is very tough for us. We are not having any particular apparatus available with us. Using that, we can measure it, right? So question comes, how we can measure brand loyalty? In such case, if we want to measure the brand loyalty, what we need to do, we need to use certain scales which are available already in the research, right? So we need to firstly know what kind of measurement scales are available in statistics. So I think maybe people are having the idea about the measurement scales. So any one of you can tell me what type of measurement scales are available when we talk about research or statistics? Yes.
Likert scale is one I know of, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Debashish sir, apart from this, yes. Okay, fine. Yes, 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 Rima.
Yes, like in my idea, there is this mean deviation scale, average scale. So I have used this kind of scales according to my research purpose. So I know this one.
Fine, ma'am. Thanks, Rima. Anyone else? Measurement scales, I hope any one of you have heard. No? Okay, how many of you are from the management side? Okay, how many of you people have studied about the research methodology? Devasis sir, okay. Sanjana ma'am, fine. Anushka ma'am, Vandana ma'am, Purnima ma'am, okay, fine. So fine. I think Sri ma'am is also okay. So fine. I think many of you are having or studied these subjects. Fine. So when I talk about measurement scales are what? These scales are the way or what I can say the facility available. Using that, we can measure the latent variable, right? Now question comes, what is latent variable? So latent variable is the variable which cannot be measured directly, right? You cannot measure such variable using any kind of instrument and all. So these kind of variables can be measured using the measurement scales. So there is a classification of the measurement scales. The classification is what it is. You can divide the measurement scales into the 4 parts: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So now can you tell me, have you heard about this?
Ma'am, please repeat.
Okay. The scales are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Anyone who has heard about these? Purnima ma'am said yes. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Sanjana ma'am also. Debasis sir also fine. So
Yes, ma'am.
Debasis, yes. Anamika ma'am said also yes. Singhara sir is also said yes. Very good. So Debasis sir, as you said, Likert scale or Likert scale is a scale which we can keep in the ordinal scale form, right? So when I talk about these four scales, again I'm repeating nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So I'll start with the nominal scale. So as you people have heard about nominal scale, so you people are knowing this thing that nominal scales are scales which we are using for the purpose of categorization, right? This is the very basic scale. This is the first scale, right? And this scale we are using for the categorization purpose or for the identification purpose. For example, if suppose in this FDP, suppose as I am looking at the number, there are 38 people available, right? So I want to classify these respondents. So there can be many various ways of classifying the respondents or the participants of this FDP, right? So one classification can be the gender. I can divide the participant that how many of the participants are male, how many of the participants are female. This can be the classification, right? Apart from that, maybe I think this is a personal thing which I'm saying. Maybe we can say this thing: how many of the participants are married, how many of them are unmarried, right? That can be the second way of the classification. Fine. So this way, when we talk about nominal scale allows us to classify the objects or the respondents, uh, right? So this is known as the nominal scale. Second thing I said, we are using nominal scale for the identification purpose also, right? So as I have previously said to you, statistics cannot deal with the numbers. So say for example, if I'm having the gender variable available with me, maybe marital status or education level, etc. So what I can do, I can code this data, right? Coding means I can give some number to the categories. So in the gender, suppose I am taking two categories, male and female. So I can give suppose 1 to male and 2 to female. This I can do. So there, where I'm giving the numbers, these numbers are nothing but these are the numbers which we are using for the identification purpose, and we are coding our data so that we can convert the data into the number form, right? So here we can say these codings have no meaning is what? We cannot compare them. These are not comparative in nature. We cannot say here 1 is greater than or 1 is less than to 2 or 2 is greater than to 1. Here 1 and 2 is not having any magnitude. We are just giving these number for the identification purpose to our categories. So that way we can say nominal scale is allowing us to classify the data or to give the identification numbers to your categories of the data. So this is the very first scale. Moving ahead, talking about the second scale, which is the ordinal scale. Ordinal scale, so as we are proceeding, all the scales will be having the features or the qualities of its previous scale. So ordinal scale will be having the classification thing. Apart from that, whatever classification you will make, you can arrange that classification into particular order. You can rank that order. So we can say ordinal scale will having the classification quality also, and you can rank order also your categories. So this is the ordinal scale. For example, if we are asking the people to rate any particular brand, right? So rating is nothing but it's a kind of ordinal scale data. So you can classify that how many of the people have given rating 1, 2, 3, something like that. And you also know you can arrange these categories or these ranking into the ascending or descending order. So this is the ordinal scale. The third scale is the interval scale. Interval scale is the scale which can help you to classify, to rank order, and also whatever classification or whatever categories you are making, there will be an equal distance, there will be an equal difference, right? So I think it is now very much almost 3-4 years I think I'm teaching through these platforms through the RFI, And always I quote an example of temperature scale when we talk about the interval scale. So the temperature scale is what we know this thing. I think we all have seen the thermometer, so we know what temperature scale is, right? And we are knowing this thing. We are using temperature scale for measuring the temperature. We know the qualities of temperature also. The temperature can be means when we say temperature, we can feel in the form of hotness and the coolness, right? So we can say this thing that suppose I want to classify certain cities on the basis of their temperature, right? So maybe I have made the ranges as, or maybe the intervals as 25 to 30, 31 to 35, 36 to 40, and likewise. So that way I have classified the cities. So you can see here classification is possible. You can arrange these categories into the ascending or descending order. And also there is an equal distance, right? In the same manner, when we talk about the thermometer, we know this thing in the 1 degree Celsius, or maybe suppose it is starting from 90 degrees Celsius or something like. So we know this thing, there is an equal distance on in each and every centigrade when we are increasing it, right? So that way, this is known as the interval scale. But there is a drawback of the interval scale, and the drawback is what? This scale is lacking with the actual zero or the true zero. This scale is not having the actual zero. Means when we talk about temperature, we know this thing when we are going on a 0 degree, so still we are feeling one of the characteristics of temperature. So when we are saying it is 0, so it should not present there, but still one of the characteristics of temperature is generally presenting there. It is not generally, always it is presenting there. We are feeling cold, right? So that way you can say it is arbitrary zero kept by the scientists to develop these kind of scales and all. So that is the problem with the interval scale, that it is lacking with the actual zero. So to overcome this particular drawback, we are having the next scale, which is named as ratio scale. So ratio scale is having the characteristics like classification, rank order, equal distance, and also it is having the actual zero or the true zero or absolute zero. So example can be suppose the height, weight, income, zero, likewise. So all these, when we're talking about these scales, are starting from actual 0 point, right? So when we say ratio scale, as it is having the actual zero or true zero, so that way it is giving you the advantage of comparing the thing, right? So if suppose a person is having a income of suppose 10,000 and the second person is having the income of suppose 20,000, you can easily say there is a, there is a ratio 1:2, or the person, you can call it that the second person is having the twice or the double salary, or the second person is earning the double salary, or having the double income as compared with the first person. So there is a comparison possible when we talk about the ratio scale. So talking about the constructs like perception, loyalty, satisfaction, attitude, etc. Because in social sciences, generally we are dealing with such kind of things. Suppose you are a marketing person, you want to measure what is the satisfaction level of your customer. Suppose you are an academician, you want to measure what is the satisfaction level of your students. Likewise, suppose you have introduced any new pedagogy, you want to understand this thing, that whether the pedagogy is accepted by the students or not. So for such kind of things, we are knowing this thing, that there is no particular yardstick available using that you can measure. So what we can do, we can develop certain questions. We can say we can develop certain skills, and that way we can measure such kind of things of the people, opinion, etc. We can measure. So this way, these measurement skills provide us the base for formulating or framing certain questions, right? So this is known as the measurement skills. I hope the concept is clear. I hope it is clear. Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Poonam ma'am. So with this, I think this is the very basic thing which I have discussed. Further, as we proceed, we will talk about parametric tests, non-parametric tests. We will talk about hypothesis and how to test the hypothesis, hypothesis using the SPSS. This is all we will talk in the upcoming sessions. So today, for the conceptual aspect, I think this is enough from my side. Now I'll take you through the SPSS, and we'll see what is SPSS interface and how you can use it for your research journey, right? So give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, fine. I hope my screen is visible. I have shared my screen and I'm showing you the interface of SPSS. It is visible, I hope.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Thank you so much, ma'am. So friends, okay, before proceeding and talking about this SPSS interface, I want to know how many of you are having or you have worked with SPSS. Okay, I think three people have raised their hands. Debasis sir, Sri ma'am, and Priya ma'am, and one more, I think. It's Rashni ma'am and Sanjana ma'am also. Very good. Okay, so it will be easier for me now to talk. Very good. Thank you so much, everyone, for raising your hands. So one more thing I want to tell you, because now I have shared my screen, right? So now it will not be possible for me to come again back to this Google Meet and to see your responses. So it will be very good. My humble request, if you can interact by unmuting yourself if I am asking few things, right? So that is what I can say, the limitation of the this particular platform, Google Meet. Fine. So with this, I think now we are talking about SPSS. So as few of you are already having the idea about SPSS, that this will be the good thing for me. Fine. So those who are new to the SPSS, they can see this thing, that the interface of SPSS is very similar to the Excel, right? So when we talk about SPSS, SPSS firstly stands for Statistical Package for Social Sciences, right? So social sciences is a big discipline. Under that, we can keep so many different domains. Management is one of them. I belong to the management side. So probability is that my examples can be from that side. But if you are having any queries regarding your domain, I request you can ask me, right? So this is the interface of SPSS. This is now presently this is owned by the IBM. Previously, it was with the IBM SPSS Incorporation, right? This is the version which I am showing you. This is the 25th version of SPSS. Presently, the 29th version of SPSS is available. So those who have downloaded it, maybe they have downloaded the latest version, which is the 29. So maybe there can be little changes in your interface and in my interface. But I think for this FDP, whatever topics we are discussing, for that this SPSS version is enough for you to, or this SPSS version will allow me to discuss all of the things. But if your is different, you are unable to find something, in that case, you can you can show me, you can show your screen or share your screen, and that way we can resolve the problem. Fine. With this, I'm starting with of discussion of this interface. So when I say this is the very similar like Excel, only the thing is that in Excel you will be having the multiple worksheets. By clicking on the plus, you can add so many worksheets in your existing workbook. But in the SPSS, we are having only two view, which is you can identify or you can find at the bottom of the left side lower corner. You can find there are two toggle buttons available named as data view and the variable view, right? Presently, the color is in the yellow form, which is indicating presently this is the data view activated. So what is data view? Data view is storing your data, right? So data view stores your data. You can, whatever variables you can define in the variable view, they all will be coming in the data view as the heading of the columns, right? So I think it is, as I said, it is like Excel. So we know in Excel, we are keeping the variables in the column, and in the rows, the data of respondents is generally is kept by us, right? Similarly, in this particular interface also, your variable will be in the columns, and for each and every respondent, your data will be coming in the rows. So these rows are indicating your respondents IDs or your respondent numbers likewise, right? Now from where you can define the variable. So for that, I'm now clicking on the variable view. So once I click on this, you would be able to see this interface is of the variable view. This is helping you to create your variable. So let me clear you one thing. If you are importing your data from any source like SPSS, like Excel file, or maybe the CSV file, or any other source, right? In that case, if you're bringing your data, so whatever variable names are created in that source, they will be taken as it is by the SPSS, right? So in that case, you do not need to create the name of your variables. But if you want to make any changes, any modification in the name of the variable, that you can do, right? Similarly, when we talk about this importing of the data, I think that I will discuss at the last, once I will talk about this variable view. So in that case, this is, I told you, by importing the data, you do not need to create the name of the variables. But if suppose you are giving what I can say, the training to your students, or maybe in at some other platform or else, so in that case, you need to tell few of the basic rules of defining the variable to the audience. So here I'm discussing those rules which can help you to understand what you cannot, or what you can do, or what you cannot do while creating the name of the variable. Fine. So here you can find there are so many columns available which can help you to define your variable, like name, type, width, etc. So we will see one by one what all these are and how you can use all of them, right? Now I'm coming and telling you how to define the variable. So suppose I want to create one variable which is the name of the participants, right? So you can see I have written here the name. So if I have written name only, it is no problem with the SPSS. It will happily allow you to create this name, right? But problem comes when I start the name with any special character like dollar sign, hashtag sign, then ampersand sign, right? This way it is creating problems. Suppose I have written name, right? Now I am pressing a tab key. This I did. You can see it is throwing an error or warning message, invalid variable name. It indicates you cannot start the name of variable with the dollar. Similarly, hash also is not allowed as a first character of your name, variable name. Again, same type of error you are getting. Similarly, ampersand, same type of error you are getting. That is illegal character. So this is the limitation. Suppose I want to keep some number at the starting position of my variable name. This is also not allowed by SPSS. So these are the few what I can say, the limitations that you need to keep in your mind while creating the name of your variable. But if suppose you want to use the variable name with at the rate, there is no problem. You can press tab. You can find it is easily allowing you to create the name of your variable with the starting character at the rate, right? Similarly, if suppose you want to use some number means alpha, that 1 2 3 4 etc. If you want to create or want to keep these numbers in the name of your variable, that you can do maybe in between of the alphabets or at the end you can keep, but at the starting position you cannot keep the number, right? So suppose this is the one thing. Now I have written name of the participants. Fine. Now the limitation you can see here. Now when I have written this, I am pressing the tab. Now when you are pressing the tab key, again it is throwing an error. So now what is the error? Error is you cannot keep the space in the name of the variable, right? If you are using more than one word for defining the name of your variable, you cannot keep a space, right? So in that case, what you need to do, you need to write name, underscore you can use, right? Apart from that, that dot or the period also you can use. Now you can see what I did. I have made the combination to make you understand that this way it will allow you to create this name, right? When I'm pressing the tab, you can see no error you are getting. So that means simultaneously both that period and underscore, both you can use, or if you want to use only underscore, that you can use, or if you want to use only the period, that also you can use. But I think this is not looking good, right? So that way I'm only writing here the name. Further we will see now what we can do, right? So this way you have created the name firstly, and you have also seen once you are writing the name of your variable and you have pressed the tab key, or maybe you are pressing the enter key, that way SPSS is taking some values by default, right? Or some characteristics by default of your variable. Like you can find the type is coming as numeric, but we know that name can never be a numeric thing, right? So in that case, you need to change its type. And how you can do that? You can come in this particular cell and you can click on these three dots. By clicking on these three dots, it will give you an it will give you a particular dialog box which is consisting the various types of variables which you can create in the SPSS. So this is the variable type dialog box where you can find numeric, comma, dot, etc. According to your need, you can change. So we know, I think it is very sure to us that name cannot be a numeric thing. We cannot say that, suppose my name is Chanchal, right? So you cannot say my name is, I cannot write my name in the form of suppose, if suppose I'm replacing my alphabets of my name by the position of the alphabets in the that particular alphabet. So I cannot say this thing 3, 8 something. That way it will not work because it's name, right? So what you need to do, you can see here, you can scroll or you can check, go down, you can find there is a string option available. A string means it's a character, right? So character is appropriate for defining the name, right? So the type of name should be string. So you can find once it was numeric, there is a decimal places available because we know for number there is a possibility of decimal places. For a string, there is no possibility of the decimal points. So that way that has disappeared. Only character is coming, width and decimal is not coming in that case, right? So this is that I did. I am pressing now OK. But before pressing OK, I need to tell you this thing that there are so many different types are available according to the different domains of this particular discipline, social sciences. But I think mostly when we talk about a statistical test, usually we need to keep the type as numeric. And if your variable is what I can say like name, address, etc., you need to keep it as string. And if suppose you have collected any date and all, in that case you can set its type as date. If you belong to the science side, in that case you can use the scientific notation, etc. Fine. So this is about this. You can press on OK. Once you are pressing on OK, you can see the type has changed from numeric to string. Width, as you have already seen, when we have defined this as string, there was no width, and you can see there is no width and decimal point when you are taking it as string, right? So the meaning is there is no use of this width and decimal points when you are having the variable which is of string type, right? So this I'll discuss when I'll talk about the numeric variable. Coming to the next, which is label. Label meaning is what? As you have seen the limitations of creating the name of the variable, you need to do the SPSS is providing you one more option which is named as label. There, without any hurdle, without any limitations, you can create the name the way you want. So usually people are not using it, but I think it is good to use this particular thing, because in future reference, if you're using the same sheet, this can help you to recall properly about your variable, right? So if suppose I have written name of the participants, right? But I think, as I said, suppose you are collecting your data using the questionnaire, suppose you are having the question number 1. So here, rather than writing the name as means rather than writing the complete question in the name portion, you can write here any of whatever way you want to give the name to your question. You can write Q1, you can write V1, variable 1, etc. And using this label, you can give or you can write or copy the complete question in this particular label section, right? Now, so I think I'm coming back to this. As I said, we will discuss this later on because we are talking numeric variable afterwards, right? So I'm coming back on these values. Now, values, I think if suppose I'm taking one more variable here, suppose gender, right? and I am making, suppose it is numeric only, right? So now in that case, because if your variable is a string variable, I think generally you are not giving any particular values. You're not coding it. Name cannot be code, right? Address cannot be code. But if suppose you have given reason from which region the particular person is belonging to, maybe east, west, north, south, etc. In that case, you can use this values option, right? So I think again I'll discuss this thing when we talk about a numeric variable. Coming to the missing also is no use of when I'm talking about the name variable. So I'm not discussing name. Similarly, coming to the columns, column is having an impact on the string variable. And what is the impact? I'll show you. I'm coming to the data view now. Now you can see I am in a data view, and suppose I want to write my own name here. I have written here Chanchal, and suppose I'm making it Chanchla. So I am typing Chanchla, but it is not taking. So the reason is what? Because once you have set its type as a string, you have paid attention there. There was total 8 characters it can accept. Either you can replace this 8 by some other number, or you can increase its width. So suppose I increase its width, right? So now I'm coming back. I'm typing my name as Chanchla. So now it is taking, right? Chanchal or Chanchla means it is now taking, because 8 characters it can take if the width is by default 8, right? But if you are entering the name and suppose it is more than 8 character long, in that case you can change the width. Fine, because if you are using the surname also, etc. So it is better to use or increase the width, right? Now we will see its impact here. So I'm just coming back here and I'm writing my complete name, right? Now you can see as I am on the this next cell, so you can find it is not showing me my complete name, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm stretching it little more, right? I have stretched it. Now I'll see its impact in the column. Now you can see the column size is increased from 8 to 11. By default 8 it is showing you, but when you are in stretching in that particular column, it is increasing its size, right? So that way, this is the meaning of this column. Alignment, we all are well versed. We are already working in the Word and Excel, so we know alignment are left, right, center, etc. By default, SPSS take left alignment for the string variable and for right alignment for the numeric variable. But if you want to make changes in that, so that way you can click here, and according to your choice, you can make changes. Next one is the measurement scales, which I already discussed with all of you. So I discussed 4 measurement scales with all of you, which is nominal, ordinal, and the scale. As this is the string variable, you can see only 2. So name will always be your nominal scale variable. Coming to next, which is the I have written the name gender there, so that is why I'm using this. And now you can see there are only 3 scales available when we talk about species, named as nominal, ordinal, and scale. So scale is nothing, but it is comprising both interval and ratio scales. Fine. So according to what is the type of your variable, or on what scale you have made your variable, you can set its type. Now I'll come back to the next second variable. So I think name is clear. I have set its type as numeric. Suppose I want to code my data, so I have set its type as numeric. So you can see once I'm coming here and I am I'm typing here female. I typed female, but when I am entering or when I'm going to the next cell, you can see it is not taking it. Why so? Because its type is numeric. It will take only number, right? Now, if it is number, so suppose I'm coming in these values, and then using these 3 dots, I'll define the numbers or the values. Suppose I have given 1 to male, I am adding it, 2 to female, adding it. And then I'll click on OK. That way it is defined. Although it is not mandatory to define, but it will be easier for us for the future reference. That way you will understand what was 1 previously and what was 2 previously. So that way you should define this. Now I think when we talk about 1 and 2, there is no meaning of decimal points, right? Once I'll come in the data view, you can see once I'm entering here 2, it is taking 2.00. So I think there is no meaning. So what I'll do, I'll make it 0 using the drop down. If you will use upper one, it will increase the decimal point. If you are using the downward, it will decrease the decimal points. Now, what is this width? So if your data is discrete data means a complete number. In that case, there is no meaning of this width. But if you are expressing your data in the decimal point, in that case, it will take only the 8 characters, right? And that way, if suppose you are expressing a variable in more than 8 characters, so you need to increase its size using these upper and down arrow keys, right? So I think till values it is clear to everyone. May I proceed with the missing now? I think it's one-way communication, so it is little dicey. Yes.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I
Yes.
need you to repeat this with a
Okay.
little bit.
Fine. Width. Okay, ma'am. Fine. Width for which numeric variable I need to repeat, right? Fine, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is fine. Yes, yes, yes.
Fine. I'm repeating for width for this numeric variable. As I said, numeric variable. Okay, let me show you one thing. Okay, my screen is visible, I hope, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So as I said, there are quantitative variable. Give me a second. I need to increase the font size of this. I hope it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Quantitative variable meaning is numeric variable, right? Numeric variable can be discrete or it can be continuous, right? Discrete meaning is complete number, whole number. And continuous means in the fraction form, that is in the decimal point. Fine. So here when I come to this, when I was talking about the gender I said it can be in the form of 1 and 2. There is no meaning of the continuous variable. It is fine, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. So when I'm talking about this, that means there is no meaning of this word width. Say for example, I'm coming in the data view. Here I want to suppose I have entered. You can see any character I can enter. There is no problem, right? But problem will come when if suppose I am just a minute, I am decreasing its width firstly. Suppose this, right? Now, suppose I have written this. You can see. Okay, just a minute. I need to increase decimal point also. I need to show you. Right. Now I have written this. Getting me? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I'm getting
So
it. Please.
that way you need to understand the meaning of
Yeah.
the case. It will be in case of when you are talking about the continuous variable. In case of discrete variable, there is no meaning of this bit. It will store any number of digits. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, just a question. So, which means that in case the number is discrete data, then the width will remain as 0, is it, or 1?
It is not mandatory. You need to make it 1 or 0, sir. Whatever is by default, it can be like that. But meaning I told you.
Okay.
Right. We generally whatever by default characters or by default values we will go with this. But when it is mandatory for us to change things, that way we will change. If you want to change it 1, you can do it. There is no problem in that.
Okay. Thank you.
Fine. So I think till values I'm clear to everyone. This values option will allow you to do the coding of your data, means to show the codings of your data. And as I said, it is generally suggested you need to use these codings. Again, I think in all my FDPs I say this thing that we are collecting, I think, data once, and we are trying that from that particular data we can write at least 2-3 papers, right? And we know 2-3 paper writing is like it is a very long period, right? It is not like in a 1 month I can complete 3 papers. So our mind is like it will forget that what coding I have, or what is the meaning of 1 and 2. So generally it is, you need to use these values. So in the future, if you are using the same file, you can understand what is 1 and what is 2. This is what my logic behind this value. So that is why I use this particular values option. Further, coming to the missing value. So when we talk about SPSS, just a minute. In SPSS, there are two types of missing values, which is system defined and user defined, right? So we'll see on both one by one. When we talk about system defined missing values, system defined missing values meaning is what? That the values or the observations which are not available with you. Maybe while collecting the data, some people have not responded to few of the questions. When you are collecting data manually, means using the hard copies and all. So if people are not giving you the responses, that will become the system defined missing value, because if you are importing such data or you're entering such data in SPSS, in that case you're not having any value to enter at that position. So that way you will, suppose you are leaving it blank, so that will become the system defined missing value for the SPSS. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Friends, it is clear?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So this is system defined missing value. When we talk about user defined missing value, so I think a name itself is indicating you user defined missing value means we are defining that this should be missed, right? So we are defining this should be the missing value. So now we will see how SPSS, this particular option is working. This particular option of SPSS in the variable view is working as a user defined missing values, right? So I'll show you in the data view. You can find here, when we talk about the gender column. Hello, any question? May I proceed?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see I'm showing you the data view now. And you can find here, when I have selected the gender column, I think you would be able to see some dots, periods. I hope it is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are nothing but these are the system defined missing value, right? But suppose when I'm coming to the variable view, suppose I'm taking here one more variable, which is age. I want to keep it as a numeric variable, right? Now, in age, suppose this is the open-ended question I have kept in my question. I want to ask the age of the respondent. So I have written what is your age, or maybe age, so that it is indicating people need to enter his or her age in that particular section. So in that case, people are writing their age, right? Might be possible, as I said, once we are collecting the data and we are using it as we are using that data multiple times, right? So suppose in one of my research papers, I don't want to use the data of the people who are below 30 and the people who are above 60. Suppose this is what I want to do, right? So in that case, this missing value option will allow you to define your own missing values. This will give you the this will give the SPSS an indication that in the analysis purpose, or for analysis purpose, this particular value should not be used by SPSS, right? And means rather than deleting such values from your data, it is a good option. You can use this option, and that way you can work further. So here you can see I have clicked on these three dots, and that way this dialog box is appearing in front of you. There you can find the first option is the no missing values. Means by default, SPSS is considering all your data for the analysis purpose, right? But if you want to express certain missing values, if you want to communicate SPSS this thing, that please do not include such data, that you can do, right? So here you can find there are two more options available, discrete missing values. So suppose I'm clicking on this. So this way, once I will click or select this radio button, these three boxes will be activated. So I'm clicking on this, right? Now you can find discrete means the complete number. So suppose I have written here, I found there is a person whose age is suppose 17 years, which is a minor. I don't want to use such ages or such particular person's data in my analysis. I have defined it. I found there is a person whose age is 66, suppose, and I do not want to use his data in my analysis. So that way, these are the three different discrete values which I can define here, right? So once you will click on OK, that will be that way it will be defined in the SPSS what I can say interface, that once I will use any particular analysis using this age variable, these persons data will not be included in my analysis, right? And it is not mandatory to fill all these three boxes. According to your need, maximum three you can use, or three values you can fill according to your need. You can do this, right? Next one is the range plus one optional discrete missing value. So you can come here, right? So if suppose I have written here, suppose the person I found 15 year to 29 years. Suppose I do not want to include the persons whose age is from 15 to 29 in my analysis. I want to do the analysis of the people whose age is 30 or above 30, right? So that way I have defined, this is a range I have defined. Apart from that, suppose I want to go till suppose 65, but there is a person whose age is 66. So that way, one discrete value also I can define here. Again, it is not mandatory to define this discrete value. Only range you can give, and that way it will work for you. Discrete value is the additional thing which you can define. So this way, whatever you will define here, if you will click on OK, that will be saved in the interface of SPSS. And further, if you are using any analysis using the age variable, so these whatever definitions you have given here for the, or whatever what I can say limitations you have imposed on the age data, that will be taken by the SPSS as it is, and further analysis will be performed to generate the output for you. So I hope this is making sense and you people have understood this concept.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Any doubt on this? May I proceed with the next?
Please proceed. Please proceed.
Proceed. Thank you so much, sir. So now, as I think we have discussed almost everything in the variable view, so I think I'm clicking on cancel now, because remaining are the columns, alignment, and the measurement that I think you all are already knowing. So you can set your types, whatever is your type of your variable. And that way, as I said, once whatever variable you are creating in the name field, the same will be become the column headings for you, right? So these are the column headings, right? Further, you can also find SPSS is providing you in the updated versions. You can find the type, means whatever the measurement scale you have defined for your variable, these will be shown to you before the name of your variable. So gender is not a scale variable, it is a nominal scale variable, right? So I have changed its category now. I think you can see this. So from the symbol you can identify. So when you are talking about this is the set. I think you people have studied maybe in the mathematics, or maybe you have heard about set theory, right? So set means the Venn diagram, right? So that way you can find, because it's a nominal scale variable, so you're categorizing, so it is represented by the Venn diagram. When you talk about the ordinal scale, you can find there is a bar kind of chart, or bar kind of icon is given to you, because it is a kind of ranking or ascending or order, and ascending or descending order. And in case of a scale, you can find the scale symbol is there. It is till here it is okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So now we'll proceed with the next, coming to the data view now. So this way, I think you have understood this. For performing the analysis, I think we will, on upcoming days, we will use this analyze option. For chart purpose, means suppose if you want to depict, do the data visualization of your any particular variable and all, you can go to the graphs option, right? So I think that we will talk later on. We will first see how to import data. I think data variable creation, you know, and you have already seen using your keyboard how to enter data manually. I think it is not tough. Everyone knows this, right? So now further we will talk about if you are having the data already available with you, which is available in any particular other sources. So that way how you can bring that data in the SPSS. So for that, I will tell you there are 3 ways. One by one, we will discuss all 3 ways. First way is you need to go to the file menu or file tab. There you can click on the open and then you can select data. So this is what you need to select. So you can capture this and then you can store in your any of the Word file or somewhere. That way it will help you in future if you are new to the SPSS that how to import data. So this is the first step. You can take a pic of this. Done?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Once you will click on this data view or in the data option, you would be able to see it is landing you on the open data dialog box, right? There you can find at the first position, which is lookin. Lookin meaning you need to set the location from where you want to pick the file, right? So by default, I think maybe I have used it previously. So by default, you can find one particular folder you can see here. Suppose I do not want to pick my data from this folder. What I need to do, I can click on this drop down. I will go to the suitable, what I can say, drive. Suppose my drive is this. And then I'll select the appropriate folder. And I think that way you need to know how much drill down you need to do. That you can do in your particular software that you can do, right? So I think it is the location from where I want to pick my data. Fine. Now you can find it is showing me in the files of type, it is showing me SPSS statistics, means whatever the .sav or .zsav file or extension files are available in this dialog box, these are visible to me. I want to pick some Excel file from here. Suppose I'll first select, just a minute. So I'll select here the type as suppose Excel file I want to pick. So as I have selected the Excel as a type of my file, it is showing me the one file is available on this particular location, right? So you can click on this, and after clicking on this, you need to press on open button. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, ma'am. After clicking on this, you can able to see that the that the read Excel file dialog box is appearing. There you can find at the first position worksheet, because we know in the Excel there is a possibility there can be multiple worksheets, right? Although I think in my sheet only one sheet is available, but if there are multiple sheets available in your worksheet, so that way using this drop down, you can select the appropriate sheet which you want to open in the SPSS, right? Then read variable names from the first row of the data. That means this is the indication for SPSS. If in the first row the variable names are written, so that will be taken by the variable name in the SPSS view also, right? So remaining thing, I think we can ignore hidden and if suppose there are certain hidden rows and columns available in your SPSS file. So if you are checking this dialog box, that means these will not be considered by the SPSS, right? And in the preview window, you can see this is the preview of your data. Once you will click on the OK button, the data will be imported in your file. So you can see these are the 3 variables available in the file. And once you will come in this variable view, you can see the name of your variables and remaining things. If you want to make any changes in the measurement scale, in the alignment, in the column, whatever changes you want to make, you are free to do that you can do. This is the first way of importing the data in SPSS. I hope it is clear to everyone.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is that so in the import, the file which you have mentioned is an Excel file. First question is that what should be the extension file name? Normal extension of Excel file is okay, or for SPSS the file has to be saved with some special file extension name?
For Excel, you're asking, sir?
That's right, ma'am.
Sir, as you can see, once I have shown you this data, and once we are selecting the Excel, it is showing you the extension. These three are allowed in the SPSS: .xls, .xlsx, .xlsm.
Okay, ma'am. 1 second, please.
Yeah.
And you also showed that there's a .sav or CSAV which was also there. Now, in case it is saved in Word, then what is the extension? Is it
Word document cannot be brought there, sir. Means your data is in the form of numbers, right? In the form of
it's in a
table.
table? It's in a table. It's a table on a Word
So, sir, I'll suggest you can copy your table in the Excel.
Excel and then do it.
And then you can bring. That is easier for us. Why to make complications for us? Why to create complication for us? I think it is that much we can remove or reduce. That will be easier for us to work with SPSS.
Correct. Second question, ma'am, is that there will be multiple tables on which the hypothesis will be created, and therefore multiple times the tables will be used in the SPSS. So how will the naming happen? Will it done automatically, or do we have to do it manually? How is it done?
Means same variable you need to name more than one time. This is what you are saying.
That's right, ma'am.
Yes. So then there is no issue. You can copy. Suppose this is the column, right? You can copy the values in the some other column, and you can come to the variable view, and you can change the name of your variable, because same name it will not be taken by twice. Suppose income 1, income 2, income 3, that you can do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine. Now after okay, any question,
Ma'am,
yes?
actually, I'm asking a minor question to all the experts right here, but uh, I didn't get this extension point, ma'am. Like, how can we add these extensions to a document or Excel sheet or something like that?
I'm not getting how to add extension. This is what you are asking. Extension you do not need to add, ma'am. These are the by default options. Means
Okay, ma'am.
having the
XLSX and XL SM
actually
are
it is
default.
because of the versions, ma'am. In the previous version it was XLS. Now in the latest version of Excel it is XLSX. If your Excel files are containing some macros, etc., so that will be XLSM.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. How can we find out this? Actually, like, how can we find that this is the oldest version or this is the newest version?
I
How
think
can
that
we
you can check in your drive, in your laptop only. You can go to the Microsoft, you can check its status, which version you are using right now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Properties are available. Using that, you can check.
Okay.
Fine.
If anyone got disturbed by my question, I'm sorry
No,
for that.
no, I think these are the platforms, and I think
Yes.
I encourage always, because I think it is learning platform for me also. So I
Yeah.
always encourage, please ask. That way it
Yes.
is easier for us, because many time it happens. Maybe people are having queries and I don't know why they're not asking. So it's good if you are having any, please ask.
I also had a query, ma'am. When we export our data to SPSS, is the classification of data into nominal, ordinal is done by the software itself, or do we need to do that?
Export or import?
Oh, sorry, import.
Classification will be made by the SPSS according to its understanding. But I think we, being a researcher, is knowing better than SPSS. So if you are finding the correct type is measurement scale is not taken by the SPSS, you can change Akriti, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Fine. So shall I proceed? Any other question?
How we can delete the missing value? So what I did, once I imported one Excel file, I have not given the range. So along with my data, the system also put all 800 rows also. Right?
Ma'am, voice is not much clear to me. I think there is some echo kind of thing. I cannot hear you clearly.
Clear now.
A little bit I can hear you, ma'am. Means clearly I cannot hear you. There is background noise or something. If you can.
Just yeah, am I clear now? Hello. Hello, am I clear now?
Madam, you are mute, ma'am. Can you please unmute your voice?
No, I'm on unmute. Yeah.
Yes,
Am I?
please,
Yeah.
please.
Am I? What I did once I imported my data from Excel to SPSS, I forgot to give the range, and it ticked all the 1,000 records in SPSS, right? And while I was analyzing, it was showing me 800, 850 missing records. So how to handle that? In all the analysis, in all the frequency table, it was showing me ki 800 missing records. You spoke about the system generated missing and the user
Defined.
generated. Yeah.
So means I'm not getting is once you have taken the data from your that file, Excel file to the
Excel.
Excel.
Huh.
Okay, give me a second. I am showing this. I am not getting your question clearly, but I am showing you something, and then I think I am trying to understand this. So please tell me
Okay.
whatever I am getting it correctly or not. Okay, fine. Just a minute. Okay, my Excel file is visible to you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Suppose you're talking about age variable, right? Suppose maybe income or age, whatever it is, and you are asking it in the range form, right? So suppose you have given the ranges like 21 to suppose 30, 31 to 40, then again 21 to 30. Means these are the ranges selected by the person that they are belonging to these age groups. It is something like that, right? This is suppose I have taken few data only here. Right,
Ma'am, you can take the previous sheet also, which you where you have taken the name, age, and gender. You can take that
I
previous.
understand your point. I want to tell you, means I want to resolve your problem. I think your data is in the Excel form, and this is the choices picked by the respondents, right? Means this person is belonging to this age group. This person is belonging. This is what you are saying, right? Yes. So when you have brought this kind of data in SPSS, the problem is that, ma'am, this kind of type is not available in SPSS. As I have shown you, you can see in the variable view the types. When I talk about, you can find numeric, comma, dot, etc. Right. So what you need to do in such case, you need to code your data in your Excel file itself. Right. So suppose you are writing, this is your one. This is your 2, this will be your 3, this will be your 4, suppose, right? So in that case, what you will do, you will collect, you will select your entire column, and then you will find and replace, you will do, and that way you will bring that data in the SPSS, and then in this particular variable view, suppose I think suppose we are taking this. In this variable view, what you can do, in the values option, you will go here, you will give here your codings like this. Getting me?
Okay.
So, ma'am, I also have a question on this point. It's a good point. So, what you are saying is that in case there are because the sample survey will have a lot of respondent, and this will be grouped in this kind of classification. This classification will have to be coded before it is imported.
Yes.
Okay. It is because there are certain demographic data. It could be age, gender.
Yes, always I think we are asking some demographic profile data because it helps us for the analysis purpose, right?
Correct.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, ma'am. One more. Suppose my data is only there in the 10 rows. Okay. And I imported 50 rows in SPSS. So 40 rows are blank. So when I analyze, it shows me 40 missing values.
Yes.
So how to deal with that?
So ma'am, actually your data sample size is 10 or it's 50?
10.
Actual size is 10. So in that
Huh.
case, ma'am, you can do one thing. Suppose I'll come here. Suppose I'm assuming this remaining are showing me dot dot dot. So what you can do, you can select all these rows and then you can do a right click and then you can click on the clear.
नहीं, clear option activate नहीं होता है, जैसे अभी नहीं दिख रहा ना. So actually I was struggling with this.
When you are having the dots, I think that will be visible, I hope.
Okay. Okay.
If you are having dots, that way it will be visible to you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, I will try on that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. So shall I proceed?
Yeah, please.
Just a minute. I'll show you one thing. I think we are having this. See, ma'am, this is available here.
So user generated blanks are there, then it will be available, right?
No. It is not user generated. Means I think this is by default taken by SPSS as it is. I don't know why SPSS is taking this because I created only one name. I entered only gender here. I created the remaining variable, but remaining is taken by as a system defined missing value from the SPSS side. So why it is, I don't know. You can select all. You can do the right click and then click on the clear.
Ma'am,
Okay.
One more question. For example, in the demographic data, age, there are, let's say, 4 classification areas and they are coded as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then again, let us say the next parameter is income. Again, there's a range of income up to 10 to 20,000, 30 to 40. So then the coding will start from the next.
No, it's one. So both the variables are different. Always coding you can start from 1 also, 0 also, because these are only the numbers for you are giving for the identification purpose. So there is no meaning. So from whatever number you want to start, you can do that. There is no problem.
Okay. So basically the variable is has to be the constant and the coding number can be from 1 to whatever number.
1 to whatever number, from 0 to whatever number, from 6, from any number you can start. So there is no problem. Because as I said,
and the coding has to be only numeric. It cannot be alphanumeric or something like that.
It can be. There is no problem. I'll show you in the t-test. It can be alphanumeric also. It can be alphabet also. Not alphanumeric, alphabets.
Okay. And there is no up to 8 digit is allowed, right? That's the maximum number.
Sorry?
Up to 8 digit of coding is allowed. Meaning I can have it.
Usually, I think we are not making the things complex. So we are starting from, because I think how many categories will be there? We are giving the numbers to the categories. Correct. I don't think so. We are taking so many categories. So generally, we can keep it a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, 7, 8, something like that. Not more than that categories we are taking. Generally, we are in a variable, right?
Okay, thank you very much. It's clear.
Yeah. Fine. So shall I proceed?
Ma'am, one more doubt. Ma'am, in this type, can we use this different categories at a time in the same SSP?
Sorry?
Can we use this different types like numeric type, dot type, range type in the same SPSS?
In a same file of SPSS.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Interface in the same interface. So according to that, how will be this width changes, ma'am? If we apply this numeric type, okay, so the width will be like 1 or 2 in that way. If we go for range, so the automatically width will change now, ma'am. So by this difference width, is this affects the decimals or values or measurement? Does this affect, ma'am? Any effect will be there for the whole data?
Just a minute. Suppose you are here, right? This is your variable view, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you are talking about the different or a kind of widths. So you can find in my data the widths are different. So there is no meaning of this, because as the variables are discrete, firstly, all the variables are discrete because I'm not expressing them in a decimal points. So it will not impact your analysis, ma'am. There is no impact on the analysis part. This is only I have made it for my ease, that it should only accept 1 character. It should accept only at max 6 characters likewise.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question or shall I proceed? At least we can, I think, wind up today's session and then I'll take your queries afterwards. Fine, this? May I?
Yes, ma'am, you can proceed.
Yeah. So I think one way I have already shown you of importing the data, which is using this file tab. Second is you can go to this second, what I can say, in the ribbon, you can find there are certain icons are there. So the very first icon, which is in the form of folder, once you will click on this, this will also land you on the open data dialog box. I think the rest is clear to everyone. You need to set your location, you need to set the whatever type of file you want to bring, and that way you can select your file. This is about the second way of importing data in SPSS. The third way is what? You can go to the file option, you can click on this import data, and once you will click on import data, so this is a good thing because it is directly show you the files in that particular folder which is of the that particular extension or that particular type you have selected. Suppose I selected the Excel, so if in the location whatever number of Excel files will be available, it will be shown to you, right? According to your need, you can select and click on the open button. So these are the three ways of importing the data in SPSS. I think
Ma'am, where is import option? Where is import option?
import option means this next to the open data, ma'am.
Next to
the open. Below open you can find, I hope.
Might be my version is
file menu, new, open and import. It is available on
now. After new, open database, read text data, read console data, close, save as. No, import option is not.
So it is not available. Which version you are using, ma'am?
It is. Check.
Have you downloaded it recently?
No, पहले का है 22.
22 might be possible. Maybe this is the 25th version, ma'am. So it is upgradation maybe from the 22 to 25th.
Okay.
Right?
No problem. Other two options I can work.
Yeah, that I think that is suffice for us to import our data, right? Fine. So I think this is about the importing of the data. I'll tell you the last thing because now we are ending to the session. So I'll talk about now descriptive statistics. I'm not talking because in the upcoming days we will talk most of the things we will talk about the descriptive statistics. So that I'm not discussing. I'll show you only one thing, which is the visualization of your data. So rather than visualization, I think visualization I'll tell you. Fine. So suppose how to visualize your variable. So for that you can find in this ribbon you are having all the tabs or menus available. You can click on the appropriate menu, which is tab, which is graphs. Once you will click on the graphs, you need to select the chart builder. Okay, just a minute, I need to check. Okay. So once you will click on the chart builder, this dialog box is appearing. I hope it is visible to everyone.
Yes.
Fine. Now we will see how we can use this chart option for showing the visualization of your variable. So I'm taking the simple variable gender, and we know gender is a new nominal scale variable. And for nominal scale variable, generally the bar graph or the pie chart is the appropriate kind of graphs. Pie chart is much better because it is showing you your data according to the proportion. So we are using the pie chart here, right? So what you need to do, you can go down and you can see there is an option called choose from. There all the variety of charts which can be made using the SPSS are visible to you. I'm selecting the pie or polar, and you can find only one option is or one what I can say availability is of pie is this is a very simple kind of pie available in SPSS. So either you can double click on this or you can drag and drop this in the previous in the preview window. This is what you need to do. After dropping it or double clicking on it, it will be coming in the preview window. So here you need to select your variable which you want to show as a proportion. So I'm selecting the gender and dropping it on the slice by. So once I will drop it on a slice by, you would be able to see the gender is coming on a slice by. Till here everyone is fine and understood this? Fine everyone? May I click on OK?
Yes, if you don't mind, just kind of rewind and start from where you started getting into here. I missed that part.
You need to go to the graph option next to the analyze tab or the menu.
Okay.
Then chart builder.
Okay. All right. Okay.
After clicking on this, you need to select the pi oblique polar. The one option will be coming. Double click you can do, or you can drag or drop it on a preview window.
Okay.
After that, you need to bring gender on the slice by option. Then?
Yeah.
After that, I'm just clicking on OK. So this is the one more view of the SPSS, which is known as output viewer. This will contain output of all the charts, graphs, and all the outputs which you want to generate through the SPSS. So this way, these are the two more what I can say viewer. First one is the data viewer. Data viewer will show you the data view and the variable view, and whatever analysis or the visualization you are performing, that will be generated in the output viewer of the SPSS. So this is the second window, right? So it is indicating you the pie chart proportion, but here you can find, because you have not given the value, you have not used that value label option, right? So I'll come again to my file. I think this is right. So here you need to define. So suppose I'm defining gender is here. So I'm using this value option. Here I'm writing 1 is for male. I'm adding it. Suppose 2 I have given for the female. So I am adding it. I'm clicking on OK. And that way again I need to plot or draw my graph. So I think everything is set here. This is the good thing about SPSS. If you're using the same type of dialog box, it will be storing or preserving all your options. So you can click on OK now. So that way you would be able to see now it is much meaningful for you. You can find this red portion is for the female and this blue portion is for the male. So you can find that male portion is more, or proportion is more in your data as compared to female, right? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. How do we save it and transfer it to our, let's say if we have to put it into
either you can, as you can see, you can click on this single click you are doing it way. This way you can copy this and paste this, right? Or you can do a right click, and that way you can find the export option is there. Using this export option, once you will click on this, give me a second, it's not taking, or maybe taking time in my laptop. I think it has hanged. I need to wait. So you will click on the export option, sir. The export dialog box will be appearing, right?
Okay.
I need. So now I think there you can find, you need to set the location wherever. Yeah, you can see now. This is the dialog box, right? So,
yeah.
So now you can see objects to export. There are options like all visible, selected. So by default, it is taking selected. Means if you will go with this, so whatever is selected only that will be exported. But if you will click on all, so whatever is available in the output where all will be taken in or exported by the SPSS, right? After that, you need to select in which type file you want to export your data. By default, it is taking the Word document. If you want to change, you can select the appropriate option. Then file name means where you suppose you can find here it is showing me in this particular location my data or my output will be stored. So name will be output.doc. If I want to change the name, I can come here and I can replace output by whatever name I want to using my keyboard, and then or otherwise if I want to change the location, I will click on the browse, and then once you will click on OK, so that output will be exported by SPSS for you. Fine, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, without coding, we can't create charts. Now, first of all, we need to do in a variable view, we need to write code for it. Suppose I'm doing for age or state or city. So I have to convert all my data to a numeric, then only it will generate graph, right?
Obviously, ma'am.
Mm.
Okay. So I think with this, I'm ending the today's session. This is about the basics of SPSS. I hope this session will be useful for you. You people have understood that how or which way we can work with the SPSS. What is the working pattern of SPSS? From tomorrow, we will talk about the next concept, right? So this is about the end of the session from my side. Now, if you are having any queries, the platform is open for you. You can ask. Any queries?
Ma'am, the SPSS which you will be downloading through the link you have given, that can be used for how many days?
30 days.
Okay.
1 month.
Okay. And since I am I'm pursuing my thesis, and I need this to doing my, I'm at the binding stage, so my testing etc. is there. So I hope whatever data I will be using, and I can take it out and etc. will be there.
Yes. I think if you are having your data collected already, so within 30 days, I think you can wind up if you are having a clear indication of your hypothesis and all. I don't think so. It will take much time in that case.
Yes, ma'am. I started my thesis in 21, so I'm at the end of it.
Okay, fine.
I may need your help also, ma'am. So.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Ji.
Ma'am, what about like after 30 days? What is the scene with this downloaded SPSS?
Sorry, not getting you, ma'am.
After 30 days, what will be the scene with the SPSS software, ma'am? Can we able to use that after 30 days by paying anything?
That is the limitation. Yes, sir is correct. You need to buy it, or if from any institute, those who are having the licensed version, if they can provide you, that can be useful for you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. What will be the details? Like, what is the cost details for this SPSS?
I think it is costly. I think 7 lakh or something. It is costly, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, it is too costly.
It's a costly software. So
If
it will
is
be
individual, sorry. If it is individual, it is difficult, ma'am.
It is difficult. That is what I'm saying. If you are working somewhere in any academic institute, so that way maybe two people, means all the faculty members can suggest this to the institute to buy it. So that will be easier for you people to use it. Or means I should not say this is online platform, but I think many of the people are having the ways of procuring it. I don't want to tell you how, but many can do that.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vamshidhar, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine. Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Yati, ma'am. Okay. Any other queries?
No, ma'am. We can wind up.
Fine. So thank you so much, everyone. We are meeting tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aditi, ma'am. So
Thank you, ma'am, for today's session, and thanks to all the participants also for
Nikita
making their
ma'am is there.
presence.
Sorry, I was not knowing Nikita ma'am.
Okay. So see you all tomorrow on the same time on the same platform of RFI. Till then, goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Good night. We will meeting tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.